Hey, we just want to thank Mark, Karen, Tony, Alistair, and everyone involved with organizing a great 360 Vegas Vacation 4. Despite some of the medical ailments you'll hear about on this episode, we had a blast.
June 8th, 2017. From El Cajon, California, this is episode 128 of You Can Bet on That. Hi, everybody. Welcome to You Can Bet on That, a podcast for the recreational gambler. My name is Mark Duvall, and sitting across from me is Dr. Mike.
Hello.
So we're back from 360 Vegas Vacation 4. Should we just jump right into it?
Yeah, might as well.
Yeah, let's do our trip report. Yeah. First up, I want to apologize for any names we forget or get wrong. As we're telling these stories, I'm sure we're going to say, oh, yeah, that was Carl that did that. And, it wasn't. And I know we're going to get some stuff mixed up. So, what we should just do is just refer to everybody as David.
Yeah, David seems to be a good name.
That'd be good. We've got more listeners named David, it seems, than anything else. So that's kind of thing. Also, I want to apologize if somehow I missed responding to people on social media. So much is going on there, and tweets are flying back and forth and Facebook, and I may have missed something along the way. So it was not me ignoring you. I just somehow missed it. So.
No, and I should apologize for not being in the best of moods for most of the trip, actually. I mean, I was in so much pain, and unfortunately, I'm still in a lot of pain. As I'm talking right now, my whole right arm is numb, and 3 of my fingers are completely numb. And it just now sent a shock through me. So anyway, it turns out I've got some messed up discs in my neck, and I'm waiting to see a surgeon. So the whole time I kept, and I've told you this during the trip, I should not be here. I should be home.
Yeah, I know.
It's kind of indicative because this was the first time ever in our lives that we've been to Vegas. And for 2 nights, we were in bed before midnight.
Yes.
Before midnight.
Yeah, I know, Mike. I was telling, the thing is, we woke up that Tuesday morning and it's like, I feel refreshed.
Yeah.
We both got full night's sleep in Vegas. Oh my gosh.
Usually we're going to bed at 3:30, and we're getting up at 5:30 or 6.
Right.
And maybe the last day we go to bed a little earlier because, we're wiped out.
Yeah.
But right from the get-go, it was just miserable. And I couldn't sleep even,
That last day, too, you were losing so much.
I was losing.
That really put you in a bad mood.
I was on a bunch of pain meds, and it wasn't doing a thing. I was still aching like crazy. So, I apologize if I was rude to anybody or anything. And I probably was, but not intentional. Trust me on that. I would have much rather have been happier and having a good time.
All right. Well,
there was a couple of good rolls. We did have
absolutely.
Good rolls.
Oh, definitely.
And even during those, though, I was painting. At that roll at the D, I was pouring water on my head because I was so hot.
That's right. You were, people thought you were just being silly.
No,
Dr. Mike.
I was pouring water so I wouldn't pass out.
Oh, my gosh.
I was hurting so bad. And, I was trying to be happy. I'm like, this is one of the best rolls ever. But I just it was hurting so bad.
Oh, man.
Oh, my God.
All right. Well, let's see if we can get through the podcast at least.
Well, if you hear grunts and groans, it's me.
That's you.
As we're sitting here, I'm trying to get comfortable.
Yeah. Well, that wasn't the only medical issue on the trip. And we'll certainly get to that. So anyway, we got to the airport Sunday morning, and your wife, you came and picked me up. Your wife drove us down to the airport.
Right.
We got there in plenty of time, and, we got our boarding passes, and we go to the gate, and we're looking at the departure time, and it says 10:50. And before it had been 10 o'clock. When we first made the reservations, it was 10 o'clock. It's like, that kind of happens. Yeah. So we thought. I actually went back and looked. It was always 10:50.
Yeah.
I don't know how both of us were sure that it was a 10 o'clock flight.
Because we're so anxious to go. We just see 10 o'clock. Oh, 10 o'clock. Yeah, let's
we're probably also thinking, well, 10 o'clock, that's the earliest Southwest nonstop flight to Vegas.
That was the earliest nonstop flight. There were earlier flights, but, there were stops.
This was on a Sunday.
We wanted a Sunday nonstop.
So we got there too early, and, we're, oh, God, I can't believe we're here. This is wasting time. And, in retrospect, I'm thinking about Cousin Vito, what Cousin Vito might think about, oh, poor babies. You had to spend an extra 50 minutes in the airport. We'll get to that as we go.
It was terrible.
Oh, so anyway, we had to wait a little longer, but the flight was fine. And we touched down. We took an Uber to Planet Hollywood and checked in. Meanwhile, the Indy 500 is going on.
Right. It started.
Probably started when
we were at the airport.
Yeah, you're right. In San Diego at the airport, it had already started. So we had asked Todd Goddess to make a couple of bets on the race for us. And one of them was on Takuma Sato, who was 12-1. And so we checked into our rooms. We each had our own room. And while I was walking from my room to your room, the race ended.
Right.
And
I was
you actually
watched it. You said you were on your way, and I was watching it thinking, I hope he gets here. And it was quite an ending, actually.
I missed it because when I left my room, I don't know, was he in second or third place?
He was in second place, which is a great place to be.
Sure, towards the end of the race, exactly.
End of the race. You want to be in second. You want to pass the guy on the last lap.
Yeah, right.
So you can't get passed again.
Right.
Well, with 5 laps left, he actually went into first. And I'm sitting there thinking, oh, no, because they're going to be on his tail and then they're going to pass him back up at the end. And he hung on.
Yeah, that's great. Well, I got to give you all the credit because you're the one who picked him.
Yeah.
And 12-1. So that worked out great. And Todd put a little money for himself on it too. So that started out the trip great.
So we started out winners right off the bat.
Now you had quite a room. You got a suite that was one of those end suites at Planet Hollywood that has kind of a...
It's like a semicircle window that goes all the way around the suite.
Yeah.
So I could see... Well, I could see like Thomas and Mack.
Right, over on that side.
On that side, and I could see Bellagio fountains.
Yeah, you had a great view of the fountains and the Eiffel Tower and everything. Yeah. So, you had quite a room. So anyway, we started out the trip with a win. Oh, and also Eric Rosenthal had made a bet on the Kentucky Derby for us, kind of a donation bet. He gave us those winnings when we were there too. So
we should have cashed out and gone home.
That should have been the end.
My shoulder would have loved it.
So anyway, we went downstairs to Planet Hollywood and started playing there. And I'll just say this. We played at Planet Hollywood quite a bit, obviously, is our kind of home base.
Right.
The crews there were terrific.
Excellent.
Yes.
I mean, some of the best we've ever had.
Yeah, really tremendous.
Yeah, nice guys. I mean, I even walked past a table going to bed one night, and a guy looked up at me and says, "How'd it go today? Did you get, you doing okay?" Yeah. And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. Well, when I was there, I was looking at my phone because, I'm looking at Twitter and stuff. Right. And I had stepped away from the table. And one of the dealers actually said to me, "Oh, you don't need to step away.
Yeah.
You can look at your phone right here." And it was like, thank you.
Right.
It's one thing if you're playing blackjack or, something where, maybe you're getting some information about cards, but it's craps.
Right.
Just let people look at their phones.
Right. Yeah. The last roll was a 6. What's the next roll going to be?
What's going on, sir? But just terrific crews all around. So we really, I don't think we had a bad table the whole time we were there as far as the crews go.
They were excellent. I'll say the best we've ever had.
Yeah, I agree. So anyway, half of the tables at Planet Hollywood have the fire bet. And the other half have the repeater bet.
I like that. I like that they offer two different kinds of...
choice, yeah. And the repeater bet, we'll talk about that a little bit more. We have talked about it on our show again. But basically, you're making bets that numbers will come up a certain number of times before a 7. So we'll go into details there because it does kind of fit into our stories later. But it was nice to be able to have a choice on which one. So anyway, we played there a little bit. We met listener Eric and our buddy Andrew came by, and then we headed over to the Cosmopolitan for the first meetup of 360 Vegas Vacation 4, which was at Secret Pizza. And on the way there, Andrew took us to the Chandelier Bar, and he bought me a verbena, a drink at Chandelier Bar. Now, a lot of Vegas podcasts have talked about this cocktail before, and apparently it's not on the menu anymore, but you can still order it. And what you get with the drink is this little flower. It's like a Sichuan flower. They call it like a button. It's real small. And you chew that before you drink it. And it kind of...
It's a topical anesthetic.
Well, kind of. I mean, it numbs your mouth, but it makes it tingly. It makes you salivate. Yeah. It's
a topical
it's intense.
anesthetic.
It's intense. And then you have the drink. That was excellent.
Yeah.
So I highly recommend that.
Drink?
I'll put a link to the ingredients online. But
I didn't have one because I was on so much Percocet. I was like, I'm not going to drink any alcohol to add to this.
Yeah, no, but I was drinking.
I should have.
Yeah, maybe you should have.
I think I should have.
So anyway, we went to the Secret Pizza meetup. So for the very first time, we met Mark and Karen from 360 Vegas. Yeah, we'd never met them before. Yes, nice we met Cousin Vito and Cousin Mikey for the first time also. Also, Mike Mavestro from Vegas Bride was our first time meeting him. Shannon from Neon Vacation, who we had not actually met before. Also, David, who created the Poker 4 Roulette side bet. And we talked about that on a show,
and
right?
Speaking of wrong, I think I called David Shannon once.
Even during
I don't know why.
Yeah, it's probably, it's just.
It's like, oh,
you
Shannon.
Yeah. And also, Christina, a.k.a. at Raising Las Vegas on Twitter. Did you meet Christina?
I did.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
okay.
Just real briefly out by the...
limos?
By the limos,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
All right. Very good. Yeah. Also, we saw Chris from Faces and Aces. We had met him at VIMP a couple years ago.
Right.
And our friends, Eric Rosenthal and Larry, whom I work with. And we met their friend, Neil, for the first time.
Yeah, who we never played craps
I know, we
with.
were all excited, to play. We didn't play craps with Neil or Larry.
And Neil promised me some good rolls.
I know. No, Larry.
He had been there a while.
Larry had been there.
Larry had been
there a while. So, and I guess it wasn't going too well for him. So we never got a chance to actually play with him. Real craps. We've played card craps with him before.
Right.
We need to play some real craps with him. So anyway, we met all the people and said hi, and other like Tony from 360 Vegas and Vice Lounge Online, and just all the people that we often see there. Tara and Taylor. We actually got in line with them for Secret Pizza.
Right.
So Secret Pizza, it was the first time we'd ever been there. I'd say it's excellent pizza, but it was not worth the wait.
Well, it was a long wait.
Yeah, how it was? Do you think 20 minutes? Do you think it was more than that?
20 to 30.
Yeah. So I mean, it was very good, but I would never go there again if there were a line.
I don't like to wait for any food.
No,
really.
Especially in Vegas. I don't like
We're
to
not
wait.
connoisseurs of food, so waiting in line for us is rough.
Yeah, it actually is. So, good pizza, but not really worth the wait. After that, it was time to take the limos downtown. So Mark had set up 2 giant limos to take down. They're like party buses. And we're down there at the kind of the taxi area there, about to get on the limos. And I've got my wallet out and I'm paying for us. I'm giving it to Karen. And I think it was like Tony or Karen. They were telling us what limo to get on.
Yeah, Tony was trying to decide what limo to put you on.
And he said, yeah, get in limo 1. And we're thinking, well, which one's 1? Is it the one in front or is it the one?
You were thinking that. I knew exactly what he wanted.
Oh, okay. Well, that might explain what's coming.
The one in front should be 1.
All right.
The one behind it should be 2.
This might explain what's coming. So anyway, I moved to go to the limo, and I don't see the curb.
Right. You basically stepped off the curb, thinking you were on flat ground.
Yep, exactly.
Your foot came down unexpectedly with no ground.
Yep.
And that you twisted your ankle.
I went down. And
face first.
It's funny, Mike, because I twisted my ankle very badly, and we'll talk about this a little bit more. But I didn't hurt anything else.
No, you kind of rolled.
You know what I think it was? I still had my wallet in my hands. And I think as I was going down, it was like, I've got to hold on to the wallet.
Yeah.
So I didn't put my hand down to catch myself. Maybe I rolled.
You kind of rolled a little bit. Yeah, you twisted and then you kind of rolled and you were on your side. And then you popped right back up.
Yeah, see, I popped right back up. It's like, I'm embarrassed, right? Over doing it in front of everybody. And it's like, that really hurt. But okay, I've twisted my ankle before, so
we get in the limo. Your ankle's throbbing, hurting. My back is killing me. I can't even get a halfway grin on my face because I'm in such pain.
But it was a great limo ride downtown.
It was fun.
Very fun. So we took that ride downtown and we got out. And I'm like, oh boy, my foot does hurt, but I'll be able to walk it off. So you had a room at Golden Nugget that you had reserved.
Right.
Because there was some giveaway.
I got some necklace or bracelet giveaway.
Okay. So you wanted to get the bracelet, and in order to do it, you had to make a room reservation, even though you weren't going to stay there. So as soon as we got downtown, we immediately headed over to Golden Nugget. And I guess we missed out on the big group photo.
Yeah, because we didn't.
I think we were.
Well, I didn't know there was a group.
No,
photo.
I didn't know there was going to be either.
Otherwise, we would have stayed.
We were, both of us were thinking, well, let's get you checked into Golden Nugget, get that out of the way, so that then we can actually, enjoy ourselves.
Right. We don't have to worry about that.
But there is a group photo that Mark posted there.
Probably better without us. Trust me on that.
We would have both been grimacing, right? So we go back to the D. And is that what you did? You just stayed and played at the D, right?
Yeah, we played at the D.
Right. And I met up with Todd and Amanda because I had said before the trip, hey, let's go play some Pai Gow poker while we're there.
Right.
And there was no room at the Pai Gow poker table at the D. So Todd and Amanda's mother, Sandy, and her husband, Tom. Does that sound right? Sorry if that's not your stepdad's name. But
I'm not going to remember.
And Eric Rosenthal, we walked over to Downtown Grand, figuring, okay, there's going to be some. And sure enough, there was a table there, nobody playing. We were able to sit down and play Pai Gow poker. And it was one of these tables are really kind of becoming very common now. It was a no commission Pai Gow poker table. Usually when you win a bet in Pai Gow poker, you have to pay 5%, a 5% commission of whatever you win. These non-commission tables, they don't take a commission. The catch is, if the dealer plays a queen high hand, then everybody pushes.
Right. No matter how good your hand is.
No matter how good. Or even if you had jack high
right.
and would have lost, it's still push. That's pretty
more
unusual.
More than likely, you're going to win.
More than likely, you would have been. So that's a push. And it was nice because the queen high never came up when we were there.
That's good.
Yeah. The dealer was just getting hands like crazy, though. So, we didn't do very well. Even though
you said they were getting an ace every hand.
It seemed like every hand she had 2 aces.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And was able to play them in some way.
Yeah. That's what Mark said. He said, it was just terrific.
I'm Mark.
I meant Eric.
Okay. So anyway.
Oh my God. I haven't even taken the Percocet yet. I was going to wait till we were done. Maybe I should take some right now.
Maybe we should pause. So now you got to drive home.
Yeah,
so the very first hand we played, though, was interesting because Todd announced to the table, I've got 9 high, which is the absolute worst hand you can get in Pai Gow poker. It's pretty unusual. It's hard to do.
Pai Gow.
Talk about Pai Gow. Well, after the hands were revealed, it turns out that he actually had a straight that he didn't know he had. Okay. So he had not fouled his hand. He had played the 9 behind it. Right. He hadn't fouled it where the 2-card hand was.
He just
higher.
missed the straight.
He just misplayed it. So they called the pit over. It actually kind of took a while, but once everything was explained, the pit let him change it to the straight with no head.
That's great.
Yeah, that is great.
I mean, they don't have to do that.
No, and it's just good PR. It's what they should always do in the
long
run.
It's just a push anyway.
I remember years ago, our friend Paul was at Caesar's Palace, and he had 3 pair, but he only saw 2 pair. He didn't realize he had 3 pair altogether, so he did not play the highest pair in the 2-card hand, which is what you should always do.
Right.
And as it turns out, he ended up pushing because of what the dealer played. She had like pair. He ended up pushing where he would have won if he had played it correctly. And they called the pit over and they said, well, we can't change your hand because you didn't foul. It's you decided, you're going to play the, so that, that's kind of crummy, but at least in this case, they let Todd.
That's a rough call though. I mean,
with 3 pair, it is a little bit different. When you don't see a straight and you're playing Pai Gow, that is different.
That is different. Yeah.
So we didn't play there too long just because the Pai Gow wasn't going very good, but we can confirm that, Downtown Grand is now 5 times odds. So that's too bad.
Yeah, it's really bad. Yeah. I mean, why go there?
Yeah, I know, really. All right, so we all headed back to the D, and you were playing craps. How were you doing at that point?
I was up a little.
Okay.
Yeah, it was actually going pretty well. I mean, there were, some decent rolls that made up for the few bad rolls.
Yeah, I kind of squeezed my way onto the table. I know at one point there were 9 players on our side of the table.
Yes, 9, and other people were trying to get on.
Yeah, and the dealer let the 9th player in, but then she got in trouble. I guess afterwards the pit said something like, no, it's got to be 8. So then they limited it to 8, but I was able to squeeze in.
Yeah, when you came up, see, Cousin Vito had been playing.
Yeah.
And he had cashed out, him and
Cousin Mikey,
because they were ahead.
Oh yeah, well,
and we were all ahead.
Yeah, we were doing well. Did Cousin Vito actually have the good roll? I know
he had a good roll.
Yeah,
right? He had a real good roll.
Yeah.
I think that's when you came back.
About that time
when he was rolling.
Yeah,
but after his good roll, he colored up, which was seemed at the time to make sense.
It seems like the smart move.
Yeah.
Well, a few shooters later, this guy threw a hand. How long did he hold the dice?
I think about an hour and 10 minutes.
Wow. And I mean, it was a crowded table, so it wasn't going fast. It was going
very slow.
But still, an hour and 10 minutes.
Time, yeah. And he had some little ritual he did every time. He set the dice to 11, I believe.
Okay.
Picked him up and twisted him, whatever, and threw it. But man, he was rolling so good that no one could complain about that roll.
I couldn't even see him because even though there were only 8 on our side, I actually had to kind of step away from the table during the rolls and only come up, to get my winnings.
To make your bets. Yeah. And I was stepping back, pouring water on my head, thinking, I hope I don't pass out. I was going to be embarrassed if I passed out on the.
Well, he made the all tall. And then he was a 2 away from making them all.
Right. And after he made the all tall and was only a 2 away, I think he rolled for like another 20, 25 minutes.
Exactly. A long time. And you were saying you were sure that 2 was coming because he was rolling so long.
I kept turning to Mark and saying 2's going to be coming. I mean, look how long he's rolling. Eventually he's just going to roll a 2.
Yeah. And you had your hands up in the air asking for a 2. And pretty soon everybody was doing that, waving their hands
up in the air, waving around. And I think maybe me and one other person were on it.
Yeah, there weren't many people on it. Well, he didn't make it. He actually rolled a 7 on the come out roll, so it wasn't the end of his roll.
No.
So
he made his point. He made so many points.
Oh my gosh.
And he made quite a few hard ways for me too.
Meanwhile, poor Vito, is now on the outside
Trying to get in.
and there's no room for him. He gave some bets to Chris to make for him on the hard ways. I think Chris actually donated some to him. So he had a little action in there, but he was stepped away at that point.
Yeah.
More than one person came up to me later in the trip and said that roll basically financed them for the whole rest of the trip, all the gambling.
I believe it.
Yeah,
I believe it.
So that was a great roll.
Yeah. It was great for me. I mean, at that point, we were up huge.
Yeah, it was great. So by the time he 7'd out, we all cashed out. It took a while to cash out because we had a lot of chips, and it took a while to cashier because they have to make calls, to make sure.
To call and confirm everything.
Yeah. And while you were cashing out, I met Heather from the Vegas Aces website. She's got a great website that has free online tutorials, lessons basically for dealers, how to deal different games. So we headed down to Paris, where the Everything Atlantic City Casinos Facebook group was having the meetup with Eric and everybody. And we got down there a little bit late because it took so long. And it's funny because we all took an Uber down there. Andrew was with us. And we got to the table. Andrew just disappeared.
Yeah, all of a sudden he was gone. He was walking right behind us. We got to the table. I know. Where's Andrew?
Okay, and just completely gone. The next day he apologized. He said,
party ghost.
Yeah, it kind of got to him, all the drinking and everything. So, boy, we stayed for just a little bit. But, it's funny because now I've been walking around and thinking, well, okay, my foot hurts. But, it's not too bad. But we were at Paris. We only stayed for a couple shooters.
We got to Paris at what, like 11?
11:30 maybe.
Yeah, we were I was in my room by midnight.
Yeah.
I was looking at the clock thinking, I texting my wife, like, we're in bed.
Yeah, we're thinking, we're hurting a little bit. Let's go to bed. So we did go to bed. So the next morning, I wake up and I cannot put any weight on my foot. I mean, nothing. It's like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? And I told you, I said, you've got to bring me down some pills, something for me.
Luckily, I had all kinds of medicine.
God. I finally, getting up and kind of working a little bit, I was able to at least get some clothes on and go down and get some ice to ice it. So I did that for a little bit. And then you came down and gave me some of the pills. And so I was...
His foot was black and blue.
Yeah.
I mean, it was pretty
swollen.
Badly swollen.
And it was bad. It's like, how bad is this? So anyway, you had suggested, well, let's wrap it. Let's get some bandages and, wrap your foot. And so I said, okay, well, I'll see if they have some like down at the gift shop.
Right.
And they didn't. Finally, I just asked the concierge and she said, there's a Walgreens around the corner. You can get it there. I'm thinking, okay, well, yeah, for sure. So you had gone to play craps. So I walked into the casino and told you that I was going to go over to Walgreens and get the bandage. You could have said, Mark, let me get that for you. You shouldn't be walking
Mark,
all that way.
I was playing craps. And there was a guy from Texas, from Dallas, him and his wife. They both were having very good rolls. Right. There was no way to leave.
Well, I expected they were, everybody said, you just go out and you take a left and the Walgreens is there. It's a lot farther away than I thought. Oh my God.
Well, when I saw how far it was away, because it's just outside. It's like it was outside the door.
Yeah, I thought, just around the corner. No.
Like 3 New York City blocks away.
But I got the bandage. So then I come back into the casino and I say, okay, Mike, I've got it. Can you wrap my foot? You said, yeah, as soon as this rolls over.
Yeah.
I understood. I understand. It's like, so I just sat there waiting. So finally the roll is over and then we find like a little, nook in the corner of the casino. And I've got my foot out and you're wrapping it up. So that got wrapped up. It made it a little easier to walk. And
then you walked right over to the craps table and bought in.
Exactly, bought in. And here, this was great, was as soon as I got up there, the pit said, would you like a chair?
Right.
I didn't even ask for one.
Because I told them I was going to wrap your foot. You hurt your ankle.
So that's great. They brought me a chair. And that's basically how I played craps the whole weekend.
And it's funny. At Planet Hollywood, the whole rest of the trip, when you walked up, they brought you a chair.
They'd say, how you doing? If it had been a crew that we'd already played with, they said, here you go. I remember.
Yeah, they brought you a chair.
Yeah, just a great crew. Well, so anyway, we played there for a while, and then we headed over to Wicked Spoon, which was another 360 Vegas Vacation 4 event for brunch. We went over there, and we ate with David and kind of with Chris and Julie. They were sitting at a table, kind of next to us there. Yeah, so... What do you think of the buffet there, the Wicked Spoon?
It's fine. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's a little too what I would call fancy for me.
Yeah.
I like the pancakes and the bacon and eggs and stuff, but some of the more involved food.
Yeah.
You know, it's not for me.
Yeah,
really.
I thought it was very good, but
It's very pricey.
that's the thing. I wouldn't pay that price again for a buck.
No.
Because for what we paid, and it was with tax, it was close to like $46 a person. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, you know,
$100 for the two of us,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah,
I
for
mean,
for breakfast food. Yeah, it
we
was
could
brunch
go
food, but
to Denny's, right? And I would be just
Yeah.
as happy.
No, I know what you mean.
And
yeah.
plus, I'm not huge on buffets.
yeah.
I like them because I like they're quick. You
yes.
serve yourself, get in, get out.
yeah.
But you can only eat so much, especially at breakfast.
Right.
At dinner, I can eat a lot more. But
Yeah.
at breakfast, I kind of like a small meal.
So we enjoyed it. I mean, I did enjoy it.
Right.
It's just that, the price is just a little
Yeah,
too
and the
much.
food
It's
was good.
Oh, yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
there was
The food
nothing
was
wrong
good.
with the
Yeah,
food.
yeah. So then after that, you decided, okay, we have to head downtown because you wanted to pick up the bracelet,
I had
which
to
was
pick
not
it up
yeah,
on-
which was not available the previous night.
Right.
And so you insisted that we go downtown.
Yeah, I twisted your arm.
And oh my gosh, that was a disaster. We just couldn't catch a
God,
hand anywhere.
It was terrible. Everywhere downtown.
Played
it was just
for
terrible.
a little while at Golden Nugget, tried a couple of different tables, just bad. You got your bracelet, and at one point you were thinking, maybe I'll play a little bit more here and get a second bracelet, because that was
Right.
part of
That
the
was
deal.
part
And
of
they
the
said,
deal.
oh, forget it. I'm not getting enough
No,
credit.
it was so
to-"
cold. I said, I'm never going to get credit fast enough.
Yeah.
I'd go somewhere and win.
So then we headed up to Golden Gate and started playing there for a while. And we always enjoyed playing there, and that was bad too. Just
we had some bad runs
terrible,
there. Yeah,
terrible.
Greg and Christy met us there.
yeah, right.
And it was terrible.
It was.
I mean, there was just no good rolls.
You know,
I mean, a guy would make maybe a point, and that would be it.
Greg and Christy stayed at that one table. We moved to the other, and then Christy made like 3 points.
Right.
You know, it's
But that was the
typical.
only time that there were more than one
But
point
that was
made.
it, yes.
Yeah.
And it was just bad. So downtown, that was kind of a bummer after having had such a good session the night before. But Greg and Christy were nice enough to drive us back to Planet Hollywood. So that was good. Saved us on an Uber ride. And we played a little bit more and then headed over to Bellagio for the official kind of podcast meet and greet. It was taking place at Baccarat Bar there.
Right.
And we arrived, and Baccarat Bar, we were just too many people. And, you know, when we wanted to, I wasn't really involved in this, but when we got there, we heard that, well, they'd wanted to put us all like on one tab.
Yeah.
You know, all these
Boy,
people.
that'd be
there's
a mess,
yeah.
yeah.
So we were kind of milling around having our meet and greet. And I guess, I don't know if Mark and Karen were deciding on other plans, but it was fine. We were, you know, talking to everybody. We actually met Mark Meltzer from Edge Vegas for the first time. And we met up with Scott Robin from Vital Vegas that we had met last time at VIMF at that Luxor
right.
event. And he introduced her as his wife, fiance, girlfriend. It's kind of vague.
It was very vague.
Was her name Emery? Does that sound right? I can't remember her name. Sorry about that, Scott. We can't remember her name.
I don't remember her name. Once again, I was in so much
I know
pain.
it was so much
I kept
at that
thinking,
point, so,
I gotta do something.
But congratulations on your girlfriend, wife, fiance, whatever she is.
Turns out she's from San Diego.
Oh, that's right. We were talking to her a little bit about that.
It
Yeah,
turns
she
out
spent some
she's
time
from
in
San Diego, and she grew up not far from where I live.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that was funny.
So it was decided that the meet and greet was going to move over to Bally's. And so we all started kind of moving that way. But you stopped and played some craps at Bellagio on the way.
Right.
I played a little bit. It was still terrible.
It wasn't great, but after you stopped playing, I got my money back.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
That
it
one
did get
guy
a
had
little bit
had a
better.
big role,
Yeah.
and I ended up okay there. I didn't lose much.
So a bunch of us, you know, were heading over to Bally's still. And when we got there was a virtually empty table. There was one guy at the table. And we basically took it over. I mean, all the 360 Vegas vacation people
I think I
who
was
weren't
in the
at the
lead.
meet and
I
greet,
think I
just-
made a beeline.
Everybody, yeah.
Let me show you where the craps table is. I remember saying that to Todd or
Yeah.
somebody, and we made a beeline for that
Yeah.
table.
And we all bought in, and the guy was in the middle of his roll. He was by himself, but he was thrown from the don't.
Right.
So it's kind of like, well, you know, whatever. And I was apologizing to us. Sorry for taking your table. But he was very nice.
Yeah, he was a nice
He was
guy.
very nice. And even switched over to the pass line, you know, when we
Yeah.
started playing. So that went, I don't know, up and down for a little while.
For a little while, it was up and down,
Yep.
and then it got great.
And then another fantastic hand.
Yeah.
And I don't remember a lot of details, but all I know is that by the end of the hand, I had a 4 buy bet pressed up to $1,600.
Yes.
Starting at $25.
Right.
Had it pressed
And
up to
4's the only thing I didn't have.
I know, yeah.
But I had made a ton of money on hard ways,
Yeah.
and I won like over 3,000 on that roll.
Yeah, that was great. So we didn't spend too much time after that roll. We went over and ate dinner at Tequila Taqueria Bar and Grill. I think most of the group was over there, actually. They had already started. We came kind of late, so we were just kind of at a table by ourselves.
And we ate so fast.
Yeah, I know. It was so quick.
The food there was excellent.
Yeah, that guacamole. Wasn't that good?
The guacamole was, I told my wife, that was the best guacamole I think I've had, except for stuff she makes.
I know. And
I mean, restaurant-wise,
you know, again, here we are in San Diego, so when we go to Las Vegas, we're not expecting necessarily the best Mexican food, but that was really good. Yeah, definitely good. So after that, we headed back to Planet Hollywood. We were playing a little, and then I turned to you and said, I think I'm going to call it a night. And the dealer looked at me like, are you kidding? It was 9:30.
It was 9:30. And it's funny because you left and headed up to the room. I had about one more shooter, and then I left.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, oh, Mark's go up to the room. I'm hurting so bad. I'm up to 10 o'clock. I'm laying in bed, ready to fall asleep.
So we're pathetic, aren't we? Well,
in Vegas.
I know.
10 o'clock in Vegas on a holiday weekend. I'm in bed in a room by myself, this huge room that, probably made for 8 people. And I'm just laying there thinking, oh, this is pathetic.
And I was just icing my foot. That's one of the reasons I wanted to get it there early, was to ice my foot for a little bit while. And so,
it's so stupid too. And I should have went and got ice and put it on my back.
Yeah.
Because I've been doing it at home, but there I just thought,
yeah, you're in the room.
Laid there and suffered.
It's so hard to go get ice. I got to get
down
up.
the hall.
Yeah, I can't go in my underwear.
Right.
I'd have to put on clothes.
At home, you just whatever.
Yeah, whatever. So we both had an early bedtime. That's what I'm saying. That Tuesday morning, we wake up and it's like, hey, I feel good. My foot was...
I didn't feel good, but I had plenty of sleep.
My foot was better, but still I'm, limping around. I certainly was not moving quickly.
Right.
But we woke up, we said, okay, let's go down to the Cromwell, because we had not been yet.
And we love the Cromwell. We thought it's early in the morning. We'll find a nice table.
We'll be able to get a table there.
Sure enough, there was a table completely empty. Completely empty.
Yep. That was great. Yep. But
we walk up, we buy in. I don't think the dealers ever said anything to us.
No, it was a huge disappointment. Yeah. You've heard us talk on the show about how we love the Cromwell, and specifically the cruise that they have there. This was a huge disappointment.
If these 3 dealers and the pit, we walked up, I put down, a couple $1,000s to buy in. They took my money, handed me the change, never said a word. Never said, hello, welcome to the Cromwell. My name's, Joe.
Well, see, that's the thing. They don't have name tags.
Yeah, usually they introduce themselves.
Yeah, because that's the only way you'll know their name, right? That's kind of their thing.
They said nothing.
And they were talking amongst themselves. That was the other thing. It wasn't just that. It was like we were an inconvenience.
We were an inconvenience because they were talking about the best NBA player of all time.
Of all time.
Who it should be.
That kind of, argument, which is sort of pointless,
actually,
right? I mean, how can you compare, right?
I turned to you and said, I'd love to say something here, but I'm not going to because these guys are jerks.
Yeah.
But how can you compare the best of all time?
No, I know people love talking about that, but really to come up with a definitive answer.
So they're
skewed towards the...
Yeah, they're talking about LeBron and the people now, and I'm thinking, Julius Erving, Dr. J,
Michael Jordan.
I can go down the list. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. You can go back to Bob Cousy. I wanted, but I would have just got mad.
Yeah, that's the thing. But I tried to engage them. I said, what shift do you want? Nothing. So we left there just a huge disappointment. Right. Huge disappointment.
Well, a few listeners
I hope it's an anomaly.
And the rolls were terrible.
Oh, that didn't help, right?
That didn't help. But that we've had that before.
Sure.
And if the crew's okay, we would have stuck around.
Yeah.
But boy, they were just so, I was fuming. I was like, oh my God, these people are terrible.
Yeah.
Not even after, 4 immediate outs, not even, okay, come on guys, we got to heat this up. Usually they're chattering a little bit.
Yeah, no, it was bad.
Like we were wasting their time.
Yeah, exactly. But that was basically the beginning of what would be a horrible day of craps planned for both of us. We played at Planet Hollywood for a little bit, still bad. Finally, we decided to break for lunch. Oh, here was the thing was we were going to meet up for gaming at Aria. That was part of the 360 Vegas vacation schedule. And it was going to be kind of tied to the pampering, the spa treatment thing that they had for everybody at Aria that was planned. And apparently there was some big misunderstanding about the price. And I'm sure they'll talk about it on their next episode, 360 Vegas. They basically said, to hell with Aria, we're just staying at Planet Hollywood. and
Right.
gaming's going to take place there. So we, played there for a little bit. And then we ended up eating lunch it was just at kind of their sports bar. It's called Ringers. We got there shortly after it opened at 11 o'clock.
Right.
And I mean, we were initially certainly the only ones in there. God, it took so long.
We're the only people in there, and it took forever to get the food.
And
However, when the food came, it was good.
the food was very good.
The food was very good. I mean, I was not disappointed at all.
No, not at all. But, the thing was, we made our drink orders. I don't know. You just got like a soda or something. I decided to get one of their fancy drinks. It was like a banana something frozen thing.
Yeah.
And it took so long to make that drink. And the waitress just stood at the bar waiting for the drink the whole time when she could have come over and actually taken our order.
Right.
But then even after she took our order, it took forever. But no, my hamburger was excellent.
Yeah.
I had some cheese fries. They were like those crisp cut fries,
Right.
which I'm not a huge fan of, but it's very good. So the food was good.
I had sliders, and they were great. And, the bread was real fresh.
Yes.
I don't know if they make their own or what, but the food was excellent.
It really was.
We were not unhappy about that. No. So we sat there, though, waiting for the food forever, watching, what were we watching?
Oh, it was UFC? I think something was going on as some repeat or something.
Arts,
yeah.
Right.
After that, we said, well, we need to mix this up. Let's go over to Bellagio. Bellagio is one of those places that we always enjoy going to play because, I don't know, it's nice and open, but we just don't have very good luck there. I don't know.
We don't have the best luck at craps there, but I like playing there.
Yeah.
The craps tables are right next to the cashier, which I love.
I like that too.
And it's very open. You're not crowded at all.
Yeah.
It's a perfect place for a craps table.
We went over there. Our buddy Victor met up with us. He just happened to be on vacation in Vegas at the time and, was able to kind of duck away and met with us. We played for a little while, but it just...
Yeah, it wasn't terrible, though.
No.
It wasn't as bad as it had been at Cromwell, but it wasn't good. We were still down. So at this point, we're like having a pretty bad day.
Yeah, right. So we decide, well, okay, let's just go back to Planet Hollywood. It's where our bags are. We'll play here till the end and then just get our bags and go to the airport. So we're playing at a table that has the repeater bet. So again, the repeater bet, it's actually 10 separate bets that you can make, all on numbers that aren't 7. So you can bet on any number that isn't 7. And you're betting that number will come up a certain number of times before a 7. And it works like this. If you bet on the 2, you will win if the 2 comes up twice before 7. If you bet on the 3, you'll win the bet if the 3 comes up 3 times before a 7. 4 is 4 times before a 7, and so on, up to 6. And then when you get over to 8, it kind of starts working backward again. So 6 8s, you'd win, 5 9s, 4 10s, and et cetera. Yeah. And the payoffs are different depending on what the number is. And they're
6 and 8 are harder to do.
Yeah, they're like 90 to 1.
They're 90
something
to 1,
like that. Yeah.
And 2 and 12 are 45 to 1, I believe.
Is it 45 or 40 to 1? Anyway,
maybe 40.
Yeah.
One of them's 40, one's 45.
So you can bet on one of them, several of them, all of them. You were always betting on all of them.
I put $5 on all of them. Initially. Yeah. And you could put $1 on all of them, or you could just put actually, I shouldn't say that. I was putting $10 on 2, 3, 11, and 12.
Because they pay a little less, and you're thinking, they only.
And then I was putting 5 on all the rest.
So I got the dice, and I had a roll.
He had a great roll.
And you won so many of those repeater bets.
I think I won about 7 or 8 of them.
The great thing about those bets is that you can be in the middle of the roll, and they just keep happening.
Right.
It's not like, oh, you got the all, and then you pay off, and then it's over, and you got to start over again. You may hit, 5 9s, and that wins, and you get paid. And then the 9s start over again, but then, oh, look, you're 1 away. You've made 3 4s already. Right. You're 1 4 away from winning that. So on a hot roll, you could potentially be winning one of those repeater bets every roll.
You actually made more repeaters than my wife made that one time.
Really?
She had a lot. Yeah. You had... Well, she hit 2 6s, but I think you hit like 2 6s and an 8.
Yeah, I was hitting a lot of the different numbers.
You were hitting 12 or 2. One of them you hit twice.
Yeah.
So, it was crazy good.
Yeah, so... Thank goodness that huge roll came at the end. Certainly helped you.
Oh, I won more on that roll than I won at the D.
Yes,
well, on that big roll.
And it was because of those repeaters, because you were getting hundreds of dollars each time they hit.
Yeah.
Plus, we're winning on our regular bets anyway.
At one point, you hit a 6, and I had like a $600 6.
Yeah.
So I got paid for the $600 I had on 6. Plus, it's 90 to 1, and I have $10 on it. So there's another 900. That was crazy.
Yeah, that was great. So that's at least how our gambling ended for the trip. So we left left on a high note.
Yeah, we colored up after that and left.
And we left. We actually got down to the airport a little early because it's like, well, what are we going to do? We just had a huge roll. Let's get out of here, right?
Let's
While the
get out of
getting's
town.
good. Yeah. So that was basically the trip. It's funny when we were there. Now, it was Tony's birthday. We kind of missed his actual birthday, but he had his 40th birthday and hit a big slot win.
Oh, he did?
With him. And yeah,
I
they'll
didn't know
probably
that.
talk about that on the show too. And it's funny because Julian, great guy. It's first time we met him. He's the one who, if you listen to a previous episode, he and his wife hit that Royal Flush in Laughlin with, it was like 8 times, with the 8 times multiplier. Yeah. So, man, what a great couple they were. It was his birthday.
Yeah, we didn't even know that.
We didn't even know.
Afterwards.
Yeah,
So,
afterwards he
happy
posted about
birthday.
it. Yeah, so that's funny. So then we headed down to the airport, and I'm just looking at my phone. I'd kind of been not really looking at social media much during the day, and I'm looking at all these different posts from Vito, and it looked like he got to the airport that morning about 8 o'clock for a 10:30 flight. We're at the airport. What time is it? 6 o'clock?
Yeah, a little after 6.
And I'm looking, and apparently he's still there. He and Mikey had gotten on 2 different planes and then had to deplane.
That's crazy.
Different things. JetBlue. Listen to his next episode. He talked about it briefly on his previous one. Maybe he'll talk about it on his next one.
You know how much I would have lost to you in Pygow if that happened to us?
We've been in the airport that long.
Vegas wouldn't have seemed like much of a downer.
You know what I was thinking of doing? We got to McCarran about 6 o'clock, and by 9 o'clock, we were at home. And I was tempted to just tweet Vito or something like, yeah, we total airport time and airplane time, 3 hours. We're home. How's it going? But I thought that's just too cruel. He's still waiting to get on a flight.
Oh, that's the worst
just
thing ever.
Awful. And I think they finally got on a plane at midnight that night. So can you imagine you're at 8 in the morning all day, and then you get on a flight
and
at
you
midnight.
have to stay there at the airport because they're moving you around.
Seems like
it's not like, it's canceled. We're going to put you on a flight tomorrow morning. Go get a hotel or whatever.
That's right.
You're just stuck at the airport.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. Anyway, that's our trip. Be sure to listen to everybody. Actually, Vegas Bright, they've already had their episode, and Mike talked about that a little bit, and Vital Vegas they have. But listen to Vito's next episode, and of course 360 Vegas, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot more information, a lot more details on parts of the trip that we didn't take part in.
We were in such pain, both of us.
I know.
I don't know. It was like a blur.
Oh, well,
for
see,
me.
that's the follow-up. I actually went to the doctor the next day, and he looked at it and said, oh, let's get some x-rays. He thought it might have been fractured, looking at what it was.
Right.
The x-rays came back, no, just a bad strain, but I'm in a boot for 2 to 4 weeks.
You're in a boot, and I can't stand up straight, and my neck's all crinked over, my hands numb.
All right, no more complaining.
So we're going to go to...
This weekend? Yeah, we'll go to Harris. Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
I mean, what are you, crazy? I walked around with a
I
broken
still
foot
got a
for 3
left
days.
hand. I can roll with a left hand.
All right. Well, we've got some phone calls, but I think we're going to just, I will have mercy on you, Mike, and let you go home.
Thank you.
Let's save them for night. We actually have quite a few phone calls. So the next episode, it'll be just a voicemail palooza, and we'll get through all of them. Real quick, thanks to everyone who's been clicking through our Amazon link. Remember, whenever you're going to buy something through Amazon, please go to our page first, youcanbetonthat.com, and click through our Amazon link at the top of the page. We want to thank some people for some PayPal donations. First of all, Sheets for Your Bed
Okay.
sent us a nice donation. That's Sheets for Your Bed, one word. So whoever that is, thanks you very much. Also,
I think we're probably supposed to know who that is.
I know. Yeah, we're supposed to know who it is, or maybe it's some meme or something. I checked online to make sure it wasn't something, nasty. So I don't know, but thanks for that. Also, Taylor, he said, great seeing you again. Yeah, it was great to see you and Tara as well. And also Todd Goddess, he said, great seeing and playing with you at 360 Vegas Vacation.
Yeah, we got to spend some time with them a little more than we did last time.
That was great. And sorry to anybody that we weren't able to spend time with. The best way to spend time with us is to play with us at the table. We get so obsessed with playing craps. Come up to us. That's the best way to.
Pathetic.
I know we are. Hey, be sure to check out our TV listings showing all the gambling-related shows coming up within the next 2 weeks. We update those listings every Wednesday using a customized program to search through all the raw American TV data. Just go to youcanbetonthat.com/TV-listings. We'd love to hear from you. Call our voicemail hotline at 951-292-4377. That's 9512-WAGERS.
9512-WAGERS.
Or you can email us at youcanbetonThat@gmail.com. Also, follow us on Twitter at youcanbetonThat. We tweet when we're heading to a casino, and we'd love to meet up with you. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/youcanbetonThat. And finally, head on over to iTunes and write a review on us. When you do, it helps us get new listeners. Did we forget anything, Mike?
I don't think so. I think we covered most of the highlights.
Yeah, I'm sure
trip.
that, when I'm going to bed tonight, I'm thinking,
Yeah,
oh,
you
God,
think
we
of
forgot to
something,
talk
yeah.
about this or whatever. It's like, all right, take us home, Mike.
Well, I've been suffering with this back now for a month.
let's-
And I'm just going to say this.
right.
And I'm not a drug guy. I mean, I'll do it when I absolutely have to. But boy, I've been taking, some at night to sleep so I can get through the night. I had the best dream the other night.
Yeah?
It gives you these real vivid dreams,
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Boy, we were on such a long roll and it
that's
just
great.
couldn't end. And I remember thinking, God, I hope it ends soon. And what am I saying? But I kept thinking, oh, I hope it ends soon. Because it was just going on so long.
Now, it's funny you say that because the other night I also had a dream. We're at the casino. I'm sure all your dreams are
Yeah,
pretty much
it's-
that. It's
yeah.
you and me. So I had this dream and I had won like $250 at the craps table. You, for some reason, had gone to a slot and you won $19 million. All right. So I called up my wife, Sherry, and I said, yeah, so we did pretty good. Between Mike and me, we won $19,250,000.
What was her response?
I don't know. Hopefully. So maybe that's what's in store for us this weekend.
Boy, that'd be nice. 19 million. I don't know if we can get that much out of Harris.
Yeah, I don't think there's any machine that pays that. Let's look around.
Well, we
on
might have to
Friday.
win a couple.
Maybe that was it. Yeah, that was it. On the new Twin Peaks.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't know if you've heard, but there's a lot of it takes place in Las Vegas so far and at a casino.
okay.
And Agent Cooper, who's kind of in a daze, every machine he goes to, he keeps winning the
just keeps
jackpot.
winning.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
that'll be us.
All right.
All right. Thanks for listening.
Good night.